Greetings. Have you ever heard the phrase, we've always done it that way? If you've been in leadership, doesn't matter whether you're good or not, but if you've been in leadership or even if you've worked in an office, you have heard someone say, well, we've always done it that way. That's when you're questioning something that doesn't seem to be working out right, or maybe you've got a computer system where there's this process that someone has always done and it's never really worked out properly, and someone else comes in and they ask you, well, why didn't you try something else? And they say, well, we've always done it that way. And as a person who talks about leadership all the time, one of the things that I've always said is that you can't always live with, we've always done it that way. A lot of times, the only way that you can fix something is you have to change something. It doesn't have to be drastic, but it has to be a change. Well, I've been going through some weird stuff personally because my mother passed away in September and my divorce came through at the beginning of the year. So I'm the only one in this house. I have a 5-bedroom ranch, which means it's kind of a big house. And it's just me. And initially I was leaving everything just where it was. The way my wife left 2 years ago, actually at this point it's 2.5 years ago, my mother passed away months ago, and I wasn't really touching anything. And the reason I didn't is because I was just used to where everything was. So my niece decided, no, we've got to come over, or I've got to come over, and we've got to, move some things around. And she started off in the basement, which was fine for me because I didn't go into the basement all that often. Then she decided, no, you know what? I need to come upstairs. We need to do some stuff with living room, dining room, kitchen, and whatever. And it's been an interesting process because quite often she's saying, well, why is this here? Why don't we move this around? I said, because it's always been there. Which is the equivalent of because it's always been done that way. And one of the things that I kind of had to do, at least initially, was I had to kind of step away from the entire process. She would say, look, let me handle this. I will do whatever. I will bring all this stuff out of the way. I'm not going to throw anything away, but I'm going to pull stuff out that I think maybe you should make a decision on and then either put it somewhere else, leave it where it is, we can put it back, or we get rid of it. And it's fascinating to find out once someone else has kind of pulled things out where you look at it and say, geez, I didn't even know I had that. Because quite often you're not paying as much attention to what's around. You're just feeling that comfort that you had, even if it's making you uncomfortable. Because the truth of the matter is, it's my house. My name is the only one on it. I'm the one who pays everything on it. I'm the one who has to live with what it looks like. But none of it had my personality in it. So with her help, I've been able to change a whole bunch of things. And it's interesting how she'll ask me, how come you have 8 plates when it's only you? Well, because I've always had 8 plates. How come you have this many glasses? Well, because I've always gone around with all that stuff. And so, she has helped me to reduce some of those things. We have found drawers that I never went into because I never paid attention to the fact that they were there, and looked in and said, what is this weird stuff? And she said, that's something that your wife probably bought and you have never used it. Why don't we just get rid of it all? And part of me had that initial hesitation of saying, well, geez, what if I ever need it? And then the other part of me said, I've been in this house 21 years. If I haven't used it yet, it's got to go. And you get this epiphany where it says, I have a whole lot of that kind of thing going on. So I've been able to get rid of some stuff that's in the bedroom that's always been there that I never paid any attention to, that I never used. I've been getting rid of stuff like that. I've done a little bit of that in the garage. I have a long way to go. Matter of fact, I have a long way to go in a lot of rooms. But I took care of my mother's room. I took care of a former office that my ex-wife used to have. I've done a lot in the bedroom. There's still some things I probably have to get rid of. The living room is now pretty much how I want it. And I have to say it that way because one of the problems I have is that I have some pretty big things that I don't have any place to put it. I don't necessarily want to keep it, but you can't just keep calling people to come over and having them take, things piecemeal. You have to have a day where they all come and you get rid of a whole lot of stuff. And I'm not at that point yet, but I'm going to be. And at some point, I'm probably going to try to paint some of the walls. I'm probably going to try to change the spigots in the bathrooms because they're old. You know, it's just one of those kind of things where you make a small change here and there. It may be a big change, but as long as you sometimes make changes, it sparks your mind and gets you thinking about other things. That works in personal, it works in business, it works in life. That's all I have to say. Take a chance, break things up, especially if you feel stagnated, if you feel like, you know, everything is just the same as it always is, or if you're just so comfortable in a space that you didn't help create that you don't even realize, hey, you know what, this is not me. This is not my style. I need to change this up. Doesn't mean you always have to spend a lot of money. I've spent almost no money in making a lot of changes right now. It's just basically getting stuff out of the way so that it frees up the space. Anyway, that's my take on it. What's your take on it? Have you had any of those situations like that, either at work or in your personal life? Let me know. My name is Mitch Mitchell. If you like stuff like this, please subscribe. I could use some subscribers. And y'all have a wonderful week.